to Suite 301, coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're here to give you all the latest news and updates from around all our Cold Club sports leagues. You can watch our broadcasts on our Suite 301 page, our YouTube pages, as well as our Facebook pages.
Yep, and remember to like our Facebook pages and follow our Twitter accounts for the latest news and media. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel for videos from around the leagues to watch previous episodes of Suite 301.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Well, hey, we're going to dive right into some men's basketball, and welcoming to the set, Director of Men's Basketball Operations. Let's welcome Matt Hazy.
Welcome, Matt.
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
So good.
Good.
Good. Welcome. Happy New Year. We're in January now, coming out of the break. You know, schools are opening back up. Kids are coming back to campus. Take us through, what's in store for the next phase of the men's basketball season. What do we got in exciting upcoming games?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the next coming weeks here, we have a lot of, great matchups coming up. So starting next week, actually, we have our defending national champions UCLA taking on conference opponent USC, both ranked in the top 25. UCLA is number 2, and USC is 12. So looking forward to that matchup, kind of a rematch there in the regional championship as well. So looking forward to seeing who comes out on top there. We have FSU, last year national championship team, taking on first-year Miami, who's currently ranked in the 4th spot in the top 25, or top 20, sorry. We also have Northeastern, who is number 1 right now, taking on undefeated in conference play, Tufts Blue. So looking forward to that one. That should be exciting. We also have a 1 and 2 seed in the Mid-Atlantic South currently in James Madison, last year's national champ runner-up, and Richmond. We also have Robert Morris and Penn State going up against each other, and Vermont and UMass Lowell. So a lot of good matchups coming up, a lot of undefeated opponents in conference play. So looking forward to.
What I want to touch on, which I find exciting, is the FSU-Miami matchup you talked about there. The South Atlantic South Conference has had a ton of growth. The South Atlantic Conference as a whole has had a ton of growth this year. An area that only featured 3 teams in the conference last year, Florida State only having 2 conference opponents. Now they've got a full slate of, I think,
6 teams now, yeah.
Teams now just in the state of Florida. So it's now a new battle to see who is the king of the Sunshine State, and looking forward to see how Miami and Florida State square off.
Yeah, me too. It should be a really good matchup. So moving into that, like Sandy just said, new teams since last show. We've actually had 2. So we have St. Mary's College out in California joining the Pacific North, and then we have the University of South Florida making that 6th team in the South Atlantic South Conference. So I believe we're up to 33 new teams this season. So it's been great. Happy to see all these new teams coming on board.
Absolutely, that's fantastic growth on the men's basketball side for this year. That's awesome. Good work.
So other than that, we just have some housekeeping items with the season just getting underway and started again. This week only is roster removal period week. So if you have anybody who you'd like to remove from your roster, you can do that this week. All you have to do is send me an email of who you would like me to remove. You can only remove no more than 3 players. Keep that in mind. Spring academic eligibility letters, making sure you're working on those. Those need to be turned into myself before your first conference series of the spring. We also have league dues. Those are due next month, end of next month. So make sure, if you haven't paid yet, you're working on that as well. We'll have regional tournament information, national championship information, hopefully soon to come as well. So be on the lookout for that stuff.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Matt, for the men's basketball update. Sticking on the basketball side of things, let's welcome to the show Alec Verhoff, Director of Women's Basketball Operations.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Doing great. How are you, Alec?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. But yeah, just to kind of jump into things similar to how Matt did, wanted to touch on some key matchups that we have here as the spring portion of the season gets going. So actually next weekend we have Boston College at Northeastern. Those are both top 5 teams right now in the country. Boston College, won the championship 2 years ago. Northeastern made it there 2 years ago. So both very good programs, and that could very well decide their conference. So big matchup here in a couple weeks. The week after that, we actually have Sacred Heart at UConn. Those were both regional teams last year, so it could be very big for the winner of that conference and regional seeding. Then the week after that, week 14, we have Creighton at SIU. And again, that's another one that very well could determine that conference. Anything can happen, but both of those teams, they've been competitive every year and, could very well be the top two teams heading to regionals. And then fast forward a little bit more, we've got Penn at Penn State. Again, both national championship teams. They're in the same conference this year, weren't last year. So it's new, and I'm excited to see that matchup. I think that's going to be a really good game.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, it's exciting to have basketball tipping back off here, starting the spring semester here just next week, you said. How about new teams? I understand we've added a little bit more to the women's side of basketball.
Yeah, we've actually added one new team since last year, Cal State Northridge, and they're a very big get for us. They're actually the third team down in the conference, which helped us finally form that conference so we can get a schedule out with three teams. They'll all play a home and away against each other, and we're very excited to be back in the California area.
Excellent.
Very
Excellent
nice.
stuff. How about on the housekeeping side of things? What should women's basketball teams be focused on right now?
Pretty much the same stuff that Matt touched on. Roster removal, that goes through this Sunday, the 14th. So just be sure to let me know if you want anybody removed. Sticking with roster stuff, make sure to get those academic letters in, any new poster online, and make sure to email those to me so I have them before your first game. Dues, they are due at the end of February, so if you haven't paid that, you have about a month and a half. So get that paid as soon as you can. And then, last but not least, just our next top 15 is January 25th. It's 2 weeks from today, so be on the lookout for that.
All right, great stuff. Alec, we appreciate the update on the women's basketball side of things. We'll catch up with you shortly on some spring training updates, I'm sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, hey, let's focus now on to some NCBA baseball. And Jimmy, you're one of our baseball gurus around town. Why don't you give us an update on what's going on the baseball side of things?
All right, so you had a little bit of a dead period with as far as games go. So we're going to go over some housekeeping items. Like the basketball guys mentioned, rosters, same idea. They are due by your first NCBA sanctioned game. So everyone has a different due date there, but just make sure you're working on those, getting those in ASAP before your first games. Don't procrastinate on them. And then for the roster removal, if you played in the fall, you already have a roster in, and if you've had a kid, a player graduate or the list of reasons that they're eligible for removal are in the rule book. But if you are looking to remove a player, that has to be done January 25th through the 31st. So we need the documentation necessary by the school in-house by that time frame to then determine if they are valid to be removed. So if you are in that situation, make sure you're getting those in as well. Spring season's right around the corner, so with that, make sure you're securing your facilities, your fields, your umpires, and everything that goes along with that. And be on the lookout for team previews. We've sent emails over the past couple of weeks trying to get those in. We have extended the deadline through Sunday. So really, come Monday morning, if it's not in our inbox, you guys, you're too late, and we're not going to be able to feature you in the team previews. And we want to. We want you guys to do that, to turn those back in so you can brag a little bit, show off, and just so we can show the rest of the country what you're doing in your program. And it helps us with our preseason poll as well. So make sure, if you're able to get that in, please do so by this Sunday.
All right.
One more item, Sandy, before we go on to the next topic. League dues, same thing as what the basketball guys were saying. February 28th is your due date there. You should have invoices in your inbox. If you have any questions about those or need another one resent, whatever you need, make sure you get with us, because once those are past the deadline, the team will be going on probation until that gets paid.
All right. Thank you for the baseball update, Jimmy. Yes, I know January is not a big time for a lot of baseball activity, but it's coming soon. It'll be here before you know it, and probably hear a lot more when we hit February, talking about games getting going, especially down in the warmer weather states.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Cold Club Sports updates.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our team's quality headwear, such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
Rawlings is the proud uniform, equipment, and ball sponsor of the National Club Baseball and Softball Associations. Teams receive up to 45% off on all their orders. For more information, including catalogs and price quotes, contact our front office today.
Another frustrating game day without officials. Don't let the lack of officials bench your game. Introducing Officials Unlimited, the game-saving solution. We bring expertise, precision, and integrity to every play, ensuring your game runs smoothly. Our officials are experienced. We offer streamlined scheduling solutions and a quality experience for all. Elevate your game with us. Officials Unlimited, elevating sports, raising standards. Visit officialsunlimited.com/schedule or call now 813-503-2197 to ensure your next game is a success.
Sweet 301, I'm joined on set by, who might be a stranger to you. He doesn't get in front of the camera too much because he spends so much time behind it. Antonio Sacca, our producer of the show, but he also happens to double hat, wear two hats as Director of Spring Training Operations. So Antonio, welcome to Sweet 301.
It's nice being on the other side of the camera for the first time. Like you said, usually I'm on the running stuff, but now I get to talk to you guys a little bit, so it should be fun.
And we're here to focus. You're here to focus on spring training, swinging the spring, Panama City Beach, which is just 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
Take us through some highlights. I know the schedules just got released.
Yeah, I just sent the schedules out to a bunch of the teams, and some highlights of it. I know during week 2 we got Cal U. They're playing a game against Penn State. That's a matchup that we've had, I think, the last 2 years down there. They've played against each other multiple times regular season at the World Series. It's always a fun matchup, those two. They never play each other unless they play each other in the World Series usually. So being able to get them a non-conference game against each other down in Florida, nice weather. Virginia Tech and Penn State, they matched up in the World Series last year. I believe Penn State won that game 8-5 en route to winning the national championship. So that should be a real fun one. I know Virginia Tech graduated a couple guys. Spalding's gone. I believe Brandon Hubsch has also graduated from Virginia Tech, and Penn State also graduated a bunch of guys. So it should be two good groups of guys going head-to-head. NC State and Iowa State during Week 3 is going to be another good matchup. Right now they both lead their conferences. NC State last year was in a powerhouse conference with ECU and UNC, where they also were just playing great games, and Illinois State's at the top of their conference right now, sitting at 6-0. Then we got Illinois State versus Indiana. That's Illinois State made their regional last year, while Indiana is they used to be in conference before conference realignment. So we're giving them an old conference matchup that they are able to kind of go back on and play in that. And then you got Iowa versus Ohio State also during that Week 3. These are two teams that are at regionals almost every year. And every year we try to match them up in PCB as well, kind of give them that, hey, these are guys you might see later in the season, give them that competition. And then during Week 5, which we usually don't do this, we have actually a conference matchup, which is going to be a non-conference game down there. It's University of Wisconsin-Whitewater playing University of Wisconsin. As you know, Wisconsin-Whitewater last year, Cinderella story, made it to the World Series semifinal, or final, and ended up losing to Penn State. But they made a great run, and that Wisconsin team's one of the top teams year in and year out. They're in conference this year, as I said, but they'll be playing a non-conference game down there against each other.
Give us a little foreshadowing as to who is maybe the strongest team in the Great Lakes West for this season. So, all right, exciting matchups. Now, you just highlighted 6 games here. There's
Yeah,
what,
there's
100,
yeah, there's
100
yeah,
games?
something like between 115 and 125, I think, somewhere right in that ballpark,
Lots of
and that's
exciting
spread over
baseball.
multiple weeks.
And a lot of exciting baseball happening at the Swing the Spring Panama City Beach event. And you'll be able to, if you can't attend, if your team's not attending, if you're unable to show up down in PCB during the month of March to watch some of these games, the facility now has streaming capability. So all fields have cameras on them now. There'll be an opportunity for those who don't make it to PCB to follow the action live, streaming wise. So you can find more information about that on the NCBA website. Just click on the Spring Training, Swinging the Spring Panama City Beach page. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, Antonio?
For highlights of the schedule, not really, but we did get another sponsor after the first 5 that I showed you guys that we talked about last month, and that's Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's is on as a gold sponsor. They're going to be offering you guys 15% off of your purchase of non-alcoholic beverages. They're also talking about giving you guys potential coupon cards and stuff like that when you get down there. So the teams that are attending and playing, you'll be able to use that. But any fan and any like that's going down there, you'll have your VIP card. You go down, you show that to Dave & Buster's. They're giving you 15% off. I know last month we kind of just touched on them, but some discounts that are being offered at other places too. The Skywheel's offering you teams 25% off of either the ride on the Skywheel, which is a big Ferris wheel down in PCB, or they also have a mini golf course at the same at the same area, and that's right across the street from Dave & Buster's. So you could go there, go to Dave & Buster's, have dinner, and go to the Skywheel, or do it back and forth. That's something that intrigues you guys. Beef O'Brady's is doing a 10% off of anything you get there, non-alcoholic beverages, and not including tax or tip. And Domino's is also doing the same deal they did last year, which was a one topping. They did it for $8. And then we're still waiting to hear from Pancakery and Sharky's on what exactly their deal is, but it's probably going to be somewhere around the same as that Dave & Buster's Beef O'Brady's 10 or 15% off.
All right. And Dave & Buster's and Sharky's have come on for team nights. Right?
Yes, they're also doing, as Sandy said, they're also doing team nights. So on Monday nights, we're going to tell you guys, hey, Dave & Buster's, we're having the team night there. All our teams are going to want to go there. You could go hang out with other teams that maybe you didn't get to talk to while you're at the facility, but now you're going to go hang out at Dave & Buster's or Sharky's on Tuesday night, where Sharky's is having theirs, where you're able to now go there, talk to the teams. It's like, hey, what are you guys doing later? Now you're hanging out with a bunch of guys you might have never met before, or even teams that are in conference where like Illinois and Illinois State are down there at the same time. Now you're getting those contacts where it's going to be very easy for you to, hey, when are we playing? What are we playing? Anything like that as well.
Great networking opportunities. It's going to be like a club sports takeover at Dave & Buster's and Sharky's for their respective team at nights. Don't forget there'll be club softball teams there as well too. So that'll be exciting stuff. Good times to be had. Anything else on Swinging the Spring PCB before we move on?
Yeah, one last thing. We got our hotel options for lodging. The cutoff dates are all end of this month, beginning of next month, so you guys are going to want to make sure you get booked. We got 15 different options up there, ranging anywhere from condo style to your prototypical 2 beds, double queens, where you're sharing that and going from there. As you can see up there, By the Sea Resorts has been with us for a while. Emerald View Resorts was also with us last year. But a couple new places are Boardwalk Beach and Hyatt Place. The Hyatt Place actually did just open a couple years ago. It's a brand new hotel down there, and Boardwalk Beach is walking distance from places like Longboards and Hammerhead Fred's, where you would like to go spend your nightlife at times.
All right.
So some different places you could stay at down there.
Absolutely. So get your rooms booked before your favorite one is sold out. Make sure you get there before that the cutoff date, because once those cutoff dates hit, you lose the NCBA and CSA discounts there. And speaking of NCSA, we should have that schedule released
I believe within the next week. So
Okay, so softball teams coming this PCB. Your schedule will be released very shortly. Be on the lookout for those emails coming out and those announcements. All right, anything else? I think that wraps up the Swing in the Spring PCB portion of the show. We're going to move on to the PCB, or Swing in the Spring Henderson. Antonio, thank you for joining us on the show this month. And hopefully we'll see you out from behind the camera a little more often.
all right, thanks for having me, Sandy.
Welcome back to the show, Alec Verhoff, Director of Spring Training Operations West.
I'm back.
No wardrobe change.
No, not this time.
Thought you were maybe going to pull an Academy Award move on us. And
Maybe next time, we'll see.
okay, sounds good. Well, what's going on out in Henderson there, Alec?
Yeah, so we are, a couple months away. We're up to 17 total teams now. You can see just a few examples there on your screen. Those are some teams that come down every year. Very excited to have them back. There are a couple more teams that I'm expecting registration from, giving them a little bit of extra time, hoping to have that schedule out here within the next week or two.
All right.
That's a good logo.
Thank
Did you see
you.
that?
Thank you.
Made it yourself?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying that.
What about what else is going out there? How about lodging and so forth for your teams out there getting ready to book their stays?
So we are partnered with Board Travel, same as we were last year. I know a lot of our teams have already gotten that taken care of, but if you haven't and you need the information on how to get in touch with them, please reach out to me. Get that taken care of sooner rather than later. But they handle all the lodging on their own. So the teams get in contact with 365, and I'm pretty hands-off after that. So after I put you in touch with them, they're the ones that will be able to help you.
All right, sounds good. And can parents contact 365 for booking like rooms they want to come out to Henderson, watch their kid play? They can also book through them.
At this time, no. Once all the teams get their rooms, then we may open it up to friends and family. But at this time, we want to just keep it to the teams right now.
Okay, good to know. All right, Alec. Well, we wish you luck in the final stages of recruiting teams for Swing to Spring Henderson. We know it'll be a great event. I believe Jimmy's headed out there to help run the event this year, so that'll be exciting as well. So, thank you for the update, Alec. Take care. Talk to you
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. Now let's move on to the NCSA portion of the show, and we welcome Lacey Lautner. Lacey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
What's going on in the softball side of things? What's exciting happenings?
So we do have a couple exciting things happening in both D1 and D2. To start, we can talk about a couple new teams that we had join. For the Division 1 side, we did have Eastern Washington. They will be in the Pacific North Conference, and they'll be playing Boise State, Oregon State, Gonzaga, and Washington State. And I think their conferences are spring only, so they should be playing their first round of games coming up in the next few weeks. Also for Division 2, we did have a new team as well. It's going to be York College of Pennsylvania. They'll be in the District 2 South Conference, and the teams that they'll be playing are Stevenson, Loyola Maryland, George Mason, Salisbury, and George Washington. So that's going to be a nice big conference right there, and I think they're a perfect fit for the Division 2 NCSA as well.
All right, good stuff. And what about on the housekeeping side of things for softball? What do these teams, no one's playing right now, but, we're just a couple weeks away from those southern schools in the better weather getting back on the field. What do they need to be focused on right now?
Yes, so on the D1 side of housekeeping, Christian did leave me a couple of notes. So he did want me to mention conference play does pick up next weekend for Division 1. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk. Florida Atlantic will be taking on Florida on January 20th through the 21st. And then also a Rawlings Top 20 does come out February 1st for D1 as well. So keep an eye out to see where your team is on the top 20 in February. And then for the Division 2 side of things, conference play does start the first weekend of February with North Georgia traveling to Elon in District 3. So that's going to be exciting to see those District 3 teams play for the first time. Also, the Rawlings Top 10 for Division 2 will come out the same day as D1 on February 1st. So those are a couple updates and stuff. More for the housekeeping, the dues invoice has been resent to all the teams who have not paid. The final day that you can pay your annual league dues for both Division 1 and Division 2 is February 28th. And then also just check on all of the postseason pages on our NCSA website to stay up to date with regional sites and World Series sites.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, Lacey. Appreciate the softball update. All right. We are now going to move on to the NCFA portion of the show. I'll give you an update there. Football teams, LPAs have just come out this past week. Renewal LPAs to renew your membership for the 24-25 season. So make sure you get those in a timely fashion, as well as registration forms. Registration forms are very important. That helps us understand who the contacts are for your team moving forward. Lots of times the guys we've been talking to this past season are graduating, moving on. Maybe coaches are gone. After the season, they've moved on to a new role. We need to know who we should be communicating with. So make sure you update your registration form, get that into us as soon as possible this month. Really by the end of January is when we need it. A big thing right now, also academic All-American nominations. Those forms have been out. I believe Friday is the due date to get your nominations in to Dave Mogensen. Be sure to nominate your academic award-winning players. We want to give them the credit they deserve. But if you don't tell us who meets the criteria, we can't honor them. So make sure you get those academic eligibility or academic All-American nominations into Dave by the end of the day tomorrow. And then lastly, once we get those LPA forms in later this month, we'll be setting a date for the annual league meeting. That's to be determined. But get those LPAs in, get your academic All-American nomination forms in as well, because I know January 22nd is the date we expect to announce the academic All-American award winners. All right, so that's going to wrap up the football portion of the show, and really that closes up our January episode of Suite 301. Jimmy, it's been nice having you on set with me. Appreciate you joining me, keeping me company. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Suite 301. Always don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Yes, our next episode is February 20th at 3:01 p.m. right here on the set of Suite 301. Join us then to catch up on everything that's happening around Call Club Sports.
Don't forget, it's a game.
So have fun.